My phone rang, and it was my parents. They told me I should head over to Mia's house to meet the guy her family was setting her up with. The strange part was, Mia was asleep right next to me in my bed. I thought they had to be kidding. "Mia," I whispered. "They said they found someone for you to meet." She just mumbled something and pulled me closer. "All right, Leo. In a minute. You can help me pick out what to wear and do my hair." I just lay there, not moving, and she finally opened her eyes. "Seriously, what's wrong? We're just friends who sleep together. You didn't actually think this was leading to marriage, did you?" I couldn't make sense of it. I just fumbled around, not able to look at her. I pushed her arm off me, grabbed my clothes from the floor, and started getting dressed. "Leo, look at me," Mia said, propping herself up. She had a playful look. "You don't really think we're a couple, do you?" The phrase, "friends who sleep together," was stuck in my head. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't button my shirt. Mia got out of bed, wearing only her silk pajama pants, and knelt on the mattress. She reached out and buttoned it for me, like it was nothing. I kept my head down. "Who is he?" I tried to laugh, but it sounded bitter. "Don't tell me your dad just found some random guy at a bar." I looked in the mirror at the marks on my body. My back still hurt. Mia came up behind me and put her head on my shoulder. "It's Ethan." She looked up at me with those big, almond-shaped eyes, and said it again. "Ethan, the finance guy from college. You know, I'm actually kind of nervous to see him." My hand stopped moving as I was fixing my tie. Of course I remembered him. Mia had a huge crush on him, but he left the country before she could ever tell him. I thought that was all over. Mia looked at me and pressed her lips together. "Leo, don't get any weird ideas. We've known each other our whole lives. Sure, you're good-looking, but you're just one of my best friends. You're my buddy to eat with, to drive with, and to sleep with." It felt awful. A cold feeling spread through me as I looked at her smiling face. I barely managed to smile back. She kept talking. "Besides, I know everything you're going to wear, right down to your socks. It's just boring. Sometimes I wake up and see you next to me, and it honestly scares me. I'm scared that if we actually got married like our parents always joke about, my whole life would just be predictable." She shivered, like the idea was terrible. I dug my fingernails into my hand to keep from reacting. "I need to go." I grabbed my coat and left as fast as I could. I really thought Mia and I were dating. We did everything couples do. We ate together, went out, saw friends. We'd kiss during games and say, "I love you," easily. Mia would pick me up from work when it rained. She'd hold my hand under the table at family dinners. I had no idea that what I saw as a 6-month relationship was just a game to her. "Leo?" My mom tapped on the car window, looking worried. I snapped out of it. I saw my red eyes in the mirror, quickly wiped my face, and got out. "Mom!" I hugged her, hoping she wouldn't notice I'd been crying. "I missed you," I said, trying to sound cheerful. She was carrying groceries and took my arm, looking relieved. "What are you doing sitting in the car, honey? You scared me. Didn't you see those news stories about people falling asleep in their cars?" I just nodded. Then her tone changed. "By the way, Mia's date is coming over soon. Your aunt and uncle are taking this very seriously. I guess Mia has been planning this for a while. She said she was worried the guy would feel awkward, so having another guy there would make it easier." My mom and Mrs. Evans have been best friends forever. "So when we go over today..." My mom struggled for a moment. "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "I get it. Just be friendly, break the ice. Don't worry, Mom." She gave me a look of pity. She knew. A picture of me and Mia was on my dresser. I kept everything she ever gave me. I had notebooks full of my feelings for her. Of course my mom knew. We walked the rest of the way quietly. Right before we got to our door, I said, "Dad's retiring next month." Let's move to Florida. My mom looked shocked. I smiled. You've always talked about retiring there. I don't have big ambitions. I'd be happy just being a coach and staying near you. Sitting in Mia's house with my parents felt different. We were always so casual before. The last time I was here, we snuck into her room to kiss, pretending we were playing video games. This time, "Oh, Mr. Kent, you wouldn't believe the effort my girl put into getting this Ethan's attention," Mia's mom said. I told her to just ask him out, but she insisted on dating with serious intentions and made her dad pull a lot of strings just to get him to come over. I looked around. The house was full of roses. There were snacks and tea on the table. Even Mia's dog was wearing a little red sweater. And Mia was checking herself in the mirror again and again, making sure she looked perfect. The ironic part is that just last night, we were tangled up together, and she was kissing the mole on my side. The shirt I was wearing was one she bought for me. "Ah, it's a shame," Mr. Evans said, grabbing my dad's hand. "We always said as kids that we'd be family. We even had a little childhood engagement for them." Mr. Evans glanced at me. "I really like this kid, Leo. He's handsome, has a great personality, so steady." I looked down, afraid to say anything. I was scared I'd start crying. "Dad!" Mia frowned, clearly annoyed. "You said it yourself. That was your generation's idea. You and Mr. Kent are close, so you two can be sworn brothers. What does that have to do with me? What year is this? Stop bringing up that old stuff." She didn't seem to care about the adults' feelings. Then she turned to me, her voice sharp, like I was responsible. "Leo, where's that watch my mom gave you?" When I didn't answer, Mia walked right over, grabbed my wrist, and pushed up my sleeve. "The one they said was for our engagement. I'm worried Ethan will see it and get the wrong idea." The room went silent. Her mom and my dad, who had been drinking tea, both froze. My mom, who was arranging flowers, stopped. The mood turned incredibly awkward. My mom looked at me, and the vase she was holding clattered on the table. She started to stand up, but Mia's mom grabbed her arm. Mrs. Evans stood up, stepped in front of me, and pushed Mia. "Mia Evans, what do you think you're doing? We don't even know if this Ethan thing will work out. That's the watch you cried and begged Leo to wear when you were 17. Mia seemed to snap back to reality. She remembered that year when someone else asked me out. In a panic, she'd had some drinks, stolen the watch from her house, and shown up at my door crying and begging me to wear her family's heirloom. She tugged at her collar and smiled at me. "I'm just nervous. You can't take back a gift. You should keep it." "It's fine. I'll return it," I said calmly, cutting her off. I stood up. "I'll go get it from my house. I'll be right back." Before anyone could say anything, I grabbed my coat and left. When I came back with the watch, I was about to knock, but I heard a cheer from inside. "Welcome." Mia's smile froze when she saw me. "What are you doing here?" She didn't seem to expect me to return, and she definitely didn't think I'd actually bring the watch. When I handed it to her, she looked shocked. Finally, she took it and whispered in my ear, "Leo, for the sake of our friendship, don't you dare make things awkward for me today. Ethan has a big ego. Don't say the wrong thing and upset him." I didn't even want to look at her. Ethan was a man. But wasn't I? I looked at the person I had loved my whole life, and a deep chill settled over me. 10 minutes later, Ethan arrived with the matchmaker. The parents all chatted and got along. That's why my parents had to be there. They politely explained our family's financial situation and future plans for the matchmaker. The whole time, Mia sat next to Ethan, acting completely affectionate. She was almost 30, but was behaving like a teenager with a crush. I had nothing to do, which was fine. I was just looking for a chance to leave. But then Ethan turned to me with a warm smile. "You must be Leo, right? I've heard a lot about you." The big athlete from college. I was caught off guard and just waved my hands. Oh no, that was just my friends messing around. I hoped the attention would move on, but Ethan kept going. No, really. I remember you won the long-distance race, and the next day the stands were full of girls bringing you water. Before I could respond, Ethan nudged Mia's arm, pretending to be curious. You two grew up together. How did you never get together? I remember you were always so close. Everyone thought you'd get married. All eyes turned to me. I don't know how to explain it, but this polite, gentle-looking guy was being openly hostile. Oh, him? Mia looked at Ethan and handed him an apple she'd peeled. To you guys, he's a man, some athlete. But to me, he's just a kid who never grew up, my little follower I had to raise. Mia laughed like she was remembering something. You have no idea. When Leo cried as a kid, snot would just run down his face. If I wasn't there to wipe it, it would have dripped right into his mouth. And when he was 15, he got heat stroke in gym class and passed out. He was delirious, waving his arms around. I have to go. I have something to do. I stood up, trying to control my anger, and gave a tight smile to the adults. You all enjoy your chat. Ethan looked at Mia, pretending to be embarrassed. Did I say something wrong? I didn't mean to upset him. Mia glared at me, as if I was the one ruining the mood. Before she could say anything, I cut in. I have a date with my girlfriend tonight. If I don't leave now, I'll be late. When did you get a girlfriend? I was almost out the door when Mia grabbed my arm. How come I don't know? In front of everyone, with Ethan right there, my face got hot. I pulled my arm away. Why does it matter to you if I'm seeing someone? My own parents haven't even asked. It's none of your business. Mia, her father said in a stern, low voice. Sit down. What kind of behavior is this? I used the moment to bow to the adults. Goodbye, Mr. and Mrs. Evans. Behind me, I heard Ethan's fake innocent voice. Leo's so handsome, and he's always competing. He must have a lot of admirers. It's totally normal for him to be dating. I think I even saw a hickey on his neck earlier. Realizing he'd said too much, he paused, looking embarrassed. Maybe we finance guys just think differently. We're more reserved, while athletes are more open. But I respect everyone's choices. I didn't stay to hear what else they said. I usually dress casually. This was just their way of building one person up by tearing another down. They were using me to make him look better. And I could only imagine how Mia would put me down. But what they didn't know was that while the girlfriend was a lie, the move to Florida was real. I started researching houses and looking into job options there. I kept busy so I wouldn't have time to think about Mia. We grew up together, and she always acted like the bossy but protective girl next door. She'd defend me if anyone picked on me. When I was 10, I begged her to stay with me at the amusement park late. Our parents got so worried they called the police. They found us playing house in a sandbox. She took all the blame. Her dad was so mad he hit her with a feather duster. I cried and said it was my idea, but Mia just insisted it was all her. Later, as I got better looking and she got more beautiful, everyone called us the perfect couple. I really thought my life was set. When are hotkeys? You free? A message from Mia popped up. I wiped a tear from my eye. Before I could reply, another one came. Mia, you need to get your stuff out of my apartment. I'm inviting Ethan over in a few days. I took a deep breath. Just 24 hours ago, we were on the couch watching a movie. When things got intense, we made love until the morning. And now, I let out a bitter laugh. I unpinned her contact from the top of my list and replied with one word. Okay. I stayed in my room that day. My parents came home not long after. Florida is 1,000 miles away, Leo. Once we're there, it won't be easy to come back, my mom said, watching me. My dad hid behind his newspaper, also watching. I pulled on my coat. But the weather is great. It's your dream to retire there, right? I smiled and put my arm around her. The only thing is finding a good job. I'm thinking about opening my own gym. As for competing, you know I don't care about it. But, Mom frowned. Leo, you... I glanced at my watch. Come on, I'm serious. I'm fine. You don't need to worry about me. You two just think about the money. I gave my mom a quick kiss. I have to go. Talk later. I thought time and distance would make it better. I hadn't said my feelings out loud, so at least I wasn't totally embarrassed. I thought Mia and I would just go our separate ways. I never expected to be locked out of the apartment. I stood at the door, typing in the code. Incorrect PIN. Incorrect PIN. I felt a sudden rush of anger. No one answered when I knocked. I tried to think clearly and remembered I could call her. After a few rings, she declined the call. On my 5th try, Mia sent a text. On a date. DND. I took a deep breath, trying not to swear. Password? The next second, a big red exclamation point appeared. Mia had blocked me. I rubbed my temples. I was about to leave, but the more I thought, the angrier I got. So I called a locksmith. I was still furious. I didn't want to make it easy for her, so I went to her parents' house and told them the building management needed a copy of the deed for their records. Mrs. Evans didn't even hesitate, and just gave it to me. What would Mia do without you? She said, then laughed awkwardly. With the deed, I went back to the locksmith. An hour later, I was standing in the home I'd lived in for almost a year. I remembered when I first moved in. Mia stood at the door and said, Leo, welcome home. I looked around the room. The plants I took care of, the jerseys on the balcony, the skincare in the bathroom, the nice dishes. I got up and quickly packed my custom suits, designer watches, and toiletries. As for the furniture and decorations we bought together, I rolled up my sleeves and broke every single piece. When the place was a complete mess, I was exhausted. Just as I was leaving, Mia came back with groceries. She froze in the doorway. She even stepped back out to check the apartment number. 5 minutes later, her face was red with anger. Leo, are you crazy? I shrugged. You changed the password, didn't answer my calls, and didn't reply to my texts. Mia walked through the mess, put the groceries in the fridge, and rubbed her temples. I was on a date with Ethan. If he heard me on the phone with you, what would he think? My heart still jumped. I used to ask her to go on real dates, and she always said no. We're getting along well. Ethan is a serious guy, so I need to be serious too. He's not like you. When I'm with him, I don't take calls from other guys. She sighed and looked at me, a smile in her eyes. Leo, you haven't eaten, right? I'll cook, and you can eat before you go. Before I could say no, she added, think of it as a goodbye dinner. Do this for me. I watched her moving around the kitchen, and my nose started to sting. My eyes burned. An hour later, I was sure I had everything. Mia finished cooking and brought the food to the table. It was a huge meal. I was thinking maybe we could still be normal friends after all these years. I reached for my chopsticks, but Mia's sharp, "Don't move," stopped me. She hurried over and handed me a tiny saucer. Just take a small bite of each. I'm going to bring the rest to Ethan while it's still warm. Mia held up the tiny dish, which was smaller than my hand. Quick, tell me which one is best. I'll pack more of that. If there's anything you don't like, I'll leave it for you to eat. Clack! I slammed my chopsticks on the table. Her hand was still in the air. I stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly on the floor. My voice was choked. You know what, Mia? I never saw you as just a buddy. I was in love with you. All those nice things I said. My eyes were red as I stared at her. I meant every single word. I ignored her shocked expression and turned to leave. But now I finally see how stupid I was. From that day on, I let Mia go. I focused all my energy on moving to Florida. Over the next few days, I handed off my work projects and started learning about gym management. By the time I got an invitation to a class reunion, my dad had already sold our old house and had enough for a down payment on a new one. The classmate organizing the reunion knew everyone, so a lot of people were going, including Mia. I replied to the group chat. Leo's in. After all, there was still a lot I didn't know, and it was a good chance to ask for advice. I got dressed normally and went to the party. As I expected, I saw Mia and Ethan. To avoid problems, I sat in the corner farthest from them. The lighting was dim, and Mia was busy talking to people, so she didn't seem to notice me. Mia, you actually got Ethan. So what happened with you and your childhood sweetheart? You ditch us for a guy? We haven't seen you in a month. You broke up? I heard Mia's casual, I felt completely calm. I kept talking to the person next to me, and even exchanged numbers. Do you guys remember when we bet on how long it would take Mia to get the department? Hunk? I think it was. A week? So many people liked Leo. He could run, jump, looked great, and wasn't interested in anyone. Then Mia makes a move, and he's hers in a week. I listened to them talk. I tightened my grip on my beer. After a few seconds, Mia said softly, Nah. Her voice was quiet, but firm. 5 days. I suddenly felt all my strength go. Finally, I heard her say, Now that you mention it, I kind of miss him. I stood up and found Ethan blocking my path. Leo, long time no see. He put his arm around Mia's shoulder, smiling his usual smooth smile. I gave a polite smile, put my bottle down, and took a deep breath. Then I went back to my conversation. I didn't notice Mia staring at me from behind. I had 2 glasses of wine, so I was still fine. When I went to the restroom, I straightened up. Everyone was talking about visiting an old professor, including my mentor from the sports association. He'd always liked me, so I had to go. After making sure I looked okay, I pushed open the door. Leo? Ethan appeared, looking good in a white suit. Hey, I replied. As I tried to walk past, he grabbed my wrist. I tried to pull away, but this gentle-looking guy had a really strong grip. Ethan looked around, and seeing no one, he leaned in. You and Mia were living together for 6 months. My return must have really messed things up. You're angry, aren't you? I froze. So he knew. But I quickly calmed down. I thought we were in a real relationship. It wasn't an affair. I had nothing to be ashamed of. Worried this could get bad, I quietly started a voice recording on my phone. I tilted my head, pulled my hand free, and said, So what if I am? Little Leo, Ethan said softly. Taking care of my fiancée for free for half a year. So dedicated. I should thank you. His friendly act was gone, replaced by a clear challenge. Too bad you got nothing out of it. Mia didn't even call you her boyfriend. People who know might think you were being quiet. Anyone else would just think you were some guy she was keeping. Ethan's gaze was disgusting as he looked me up and down. I guess it makes sense. You certainly dress like it. I'll have to get Mia to have a full checkup. Wouldn't want her catching anything from someone so casual. He then grabbed my collar, pretending to look at my clothes. You didn't come here just to try and seduce. I'd had enough. I raised my hand and slapped him hard across his face. Smack! The sound was sharp. Ethan grabbed his face, stumbled back, and yelled to someone behind me, Mia! I heard fast footsteps and then Mia's furious shout, Leo! I didn't turn. While Ethan was playing the victim, I grabbed his tie with one hand and slapped him again. Are you crazy? Mia grabbed my wrist, but I didn't let go of his tie. I used her pull to yank it back even harder. Ethan cried out, shocked and angry. That's enough, Mia shouted, pulling me back. You've had it out for Ethan from the start, and now you attack him. We all saw you. Hit him! She pulled me so hard I stumbled. Look what you did to him, and you? Mia looked at me, completely unharmed. "You're fine. Besides, I know you. Remember when you dragged me to the amusement park and our parents called the police, who had to clean up your mess? You hold grudges. You're mad Ethan took your... So you do this. Apologize to Ethan." In the crowd, everyone was looking at me like I was the bad guy. I let out a cold laugh. "Fine, I'll apologize." Mia relaxed her grip. "You don't even have a girlfriend. You just said that to make me mad." "I'll apologize," I muttered, then shouted, "Apologize for this!" I swung hard at the other side of Ethan's face as he hid behind Mia. I shook out my wrist. "I'll post the recording in the group chat later." I smoothed my hair and smiled. "Feel free to listen." I went home that night. Later, I met with my mentor. With everything settled, I was ready to move. I didn't pay attention to anything else, just focused on buying a house and opening my gym. After a month of hard work, our family was on the move. On the plane, my parents were obviously happy. From now on, their retirement would be peaceful, and I would work hard to support them. Mia Evans has sent you a friend request. Message: Where did you go? Message: I'm hearing you moved. That's a rumor, right? Message: Please accept. I was so annoyed. I blocked her. Half an hour later, Mia called from her dad's phone. My mom looked at me, not sure what to do. I couldn't really refuse, so I took the phone. "My dad said you moved. That's not true, is it?" Her familiar voice sounded strange. Mia's voice was rushed. "You've lived there your whole life. Besides, my mom said she and your mom were going to be best friends forever. You just went on a trip, right?" My tone was flat. "We moved. We're 1,000 miles away." We were renting for now, but once the new house was renovated, we could move in. But I didn't need to tell Mia that. After a long silence, I thought she'd hung up. "I'm going to go." "Wait," Mia said twice, then whispered, "I apologized to you in the group chat about Ethan. You didn't reply. Did you not see it?" Of course I saw it. Minutes after I posted the recording, the chat blew up. Mia was forced to tag me and apologize. She even said she wanted to talk in person, that she'd buy me a gift. I didn't reply. Now that she was asking, I answered, "I saw it." Before she could speak, I asked, "Was there anything else?" Mia sounded very disappointed. The old me would have talked her ear off. After a long pause, she said, "Are you still mad at me because of Ethan? You were lying about having a girlfriend, right? You're still doing it. While you were gone, I thought a lot. My thing with Ethan was just silly. And I can explain, but you're the one I..." "Mia," I said, my voice empty, like I was talking to a stranger. "We were just buddies, right? I hope you find an even better buddy." I had a lot to do. Finally, I said, "Don't contact me anymore. You blocked me pretty fast. Now you're being awfully clingy." I thought for a second and added, "It's annoying." I don't know if it was retirement or the new climate, but my parents looked much healthier. If it weren't for selling the old house, they wouldn't have wanted to go back. "I can just go back and handle it," I said, looking at some papers. "I can do it." My parents looked at each other. "No, we don't feel right about that. Besides, the Evans family invited us to a party the week before New Year's. We'll go, then fly back. The timing is perfect." I hadn't seen Mia in almost 6 months. It turned out the person I thought I couldn't live without wasn't so necessary. "Leo, you're here! You look even more handsome." Mrs. Evans was as warm as ever, grabbing my hand. "Look at that confidence. It's great." Mia, unlike her usual self, seemed nervous. She was wearing a white dress and stood behind her mom, smiling shyly. "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Kent. Leo, you've lost weight. Has it been hard?" Her eyes were full of worry, and in them I could see myself, looking bright and sure. I gave her a polite, awkward smile and looked down. "It's been okay. I've been watching my diet." After a big meal, the sentimental talk started. Mrs. Evans hugged my mom and cried a little. At one point, Mr. Evans clenched his jaw. "Mr. Kent, you know I love Leo. I think of him as my son. That Ethan guy was just playing Mia. In college, Mia was naive and liked him, so he played hard to get and moved away, hoping she'd follow. But Mia gave up and started hanging out with Leo. So he got jealous and faked a reunion." Mr. Evans laughed, and Mia fell for it. But the good thing is, she realized her mistake. The moment you all left, she worked herself into the hospital with a bleeding stomach calling for Leo. "It's not too late. Neither of them is married. There's still a chance." He waved his hand, and Mia stood in front of me. Mr. Evans told her, "Have Mia apologize to Leo. She can kneel, whatever it takes." I looked at Mia. She was still beautiful, but looked tired. Her eyes were red. "Leo, I didn't know how to appreciate you. The one I've always loved is—" "Mr. Evans, I have a girlfriend," I said, looking away from Mia and smiling at her father. "She has a great personality, and she's amazing to me. I'll bring her to meet you all next time." Mr. Evans's smile froze, and he looked at Mia, pained. Mia looked like she was about to collapse. "That's impossible. Didn't we say we were going to get married? Have you forgotten? We're childhood sweethearts. We always said we'd be husband and wife. When we played house, you were the dad, and I was the mom. And we were together for almost a year. We were so happy." She couldn't pretend to be calm anymore, and her voice broke. We were almost married, right? You're just saying things to hurt me like last time, right?" My dad slammed his hand on the table and stood up. "Are you saying Leo is lying? That our whole family is lying? Chloe is a wonderful girl, and she's very respectful. Even though Leo just agreed to date her, our whole family thinks this could be it." Worried he'd get too upset, I rushed over and rubbed his back. "Mia, let's not bring up the childhood engagement. It was just a joke our parents made. It doesn't count. You said that yourself, remember?" We ended up leaving on a bad note. As we walked out, thick snowflakes started to fall. Just as I got in the car, Mia was standing in the cold wind, her eyes red. "It was just a fling. I was confused. It wasn't until I lost you that I realized. Can you give me one more chance?" Her voice was hoarse. "Please." Before I could answer, I saw someone in the distance. Under a streetlight, a woman stood. Her hair was already covered in snow and— "Chloe," I whispered. The woman turned, her face lighting up. Her nose was red from the cold. She pulled a bouquet of flowers from inside her coat and walked toward me. "Didn't you say you wanted to watch the first snow with the one you love most?" My heart ached. She had been working late last night but took a red-eye flight just for something silly I'd said. Chloe smoothed the frown from my forehead. "So I came." Then she leaned down and said to my parents, "Mr. and Mrs. Kent, I haven't been drinking. I can drive." The scene was so warm that we all forgot Mia was still there. She stared as we embraced. Finally, she whispered, "I'm sorry." Her voice was very quiet. Maybe she thought I didn't hear, but in my heart, I silently said, "It's okay. Not for me, but for the Mia who used to be so warm, the one who used to care about me." "Ready to go?" I said, preparing to walk to the hotel with Chloe. I looked at Mia, who looked so sad. Then, "Goodbye, Mia." I turned and melted into Chloe's arms. As I walked away, I saw Mia collapse to her knees in the snow. But that had nothing to do with us. Chloe held me tight, her chin resting on my head, and said lovingly, "To be covered in the same snow is to grow old together." She leaned down and gently kissed my forehead. Standing there, wrapped in happiness, I thought that the first thing you have to do is learn to cherish it.